gang, Jeff from G's here, back here with a very cool old acoustic guitar. This is a Harmony H165, made somewhere between 1958 and 1967. It has a date. They always had date stamps, but the date stamp on this one is faded to the point where I can no longer read it. You can date the guitar by the headstock and the presence or lack thereof of the clef, and the presence or lack thereof of a truss rod. This will be important later. It'll be on your quiz. So this guitar is from 58 to 67. The H165 is a guitar sometimes referred to as the poor man's Martin. It's solid mahogany, Honduran mahogany, quarter sawn everywhere. Top, back and sides, neck. It has a Brazilian rosewood fretboard, Brazilian rosewood bridge. This one has a bleached bone saddle in it here. And it is, with the exception of the saddle, it's all original. These are cool old guitars. Ladder braced Harmony guitars. These started out in the 1940s. I want to say around 1945. And Harmony introduced this to compete head-to-head with the all-mahogany Martin guitars of the day. The Harmony H165 is very slightly larger. It's, I think, a 15-inch lower bout when the Martins are 14 and a half or 14 3/4. It's really negligible. But these are a little bit bigger. They have a big booming kind of a sound. The mahogany is a very hard wood, and it gives the sound, gives the guitar a tone that is very focused and very spot on. There's not as much warmth in this, to my ear, as I get out of a jumbo H160 or out of my Gibson J200. It's not as warm. It's a really punchy kind of a tone, but that often helps it to sit really well in a mix with other instruments. So what do we do? This one's had a good bit of work done. When it came into the shop, it needed a neck reset, and there was some sagging going on in the top that had to be addressed, I should say. So the neck was removed, the profile was adjusted, the neck was shimmed, put back on, and we've got the action right where it needs to be. The top has had braces put in on either side of the sound hole in kind of a V pattern to just stiffen up the top to keep it from settling in. Because if they settle in, then the action tends to grow. The belly was great on this guitar. The bridge was fine. We made a new saddle out of bleached bone. Frets were leveled, crowned, and dressed. It has a new heel cap on it. And the pick guard, that's the original pick guard. Wait a second. Yeah, new heel cap. Pick guard is original. Lemon oiled the board and the bridge, took the tuners apart, cleaned them, lubricated them. And it's ready to go. Now, it's not perfect. I hate saying that. I hate releasing a guitar into the wild that isn't perfect. This one's not perfect. This one does have a slight bow in the neck. And while it has a steel reinforced neck, it does not have an adjustable truss rod. Right? That's from earlier. Without the adjustable truss rod, which incidentally comes into this guitar in 1968. That's why we know this is from pre-68. Without the adjustable truss rod, we can't really take the bow out of the neck at any kind of a cost that makes it a guitar that we can sell. So we have to live with it. It has a slight bow. Okay, what does that mean? What it's meant is that to correct the bow, we've had to reduce the saddle height just about as far as it'll go. That's keeping the action playable. And the guitar plays very cleanly up and down the fretboard. It does fret out once you get above the 12th fret on the D the A, and the E string. And I'll play this in a little bit so you can hear it. It buzzes in a very pronounced way in a couple spots. That's not a place where you typically play a lot on the guitar, and it does play just fine in the treble range up there. But other than that, everything plays well. The action's a little bit stiff. The action height at the 12th fret is 3.5 30-seconds on the low E and 2.5 30-seconds on the high E. So when you think of 3 30-seconds and 1/16 as your benchmarks, it's a little high by about a 64th of an inch on both sides. So that's that. Let's see what we can play on this thing. Let's start. I'm going to start by just running up and down the fretboard so you can hear where it buzzes out. There's one right there. There's one there. There's very pronounced. There again. It's there. You can't hear it quite as much, but it's there. I can't even reach some of that stuff. Right there, there, there. Right, so lower strings in the high register, or the high area of the fretboard, they're buzzing. The high E string, we were getting a buzz off the 15th fret. That might just be able to be dressed down a little bit further. It's a guitar that you can know and love and play just as is. That's kind of the point of all of this. These guitars are frequently purchased by folks who want to have them converted to X bracing. That can be done. If you send it off to have it converted to X bracing, you may elect to have a truss rod put in it, at which point that bow can be taken out of the neck, and then everything is perfect. So we'll play a couple of tunes here so you can hear this thing again with a flat pick this time. backing up a minute here, the reason it's fretting out is, if you think about it, if the neck is bowed a little bit, and I'm greatly exaggerating that, of course, if the neck is bowed and we want to bring the action down where things are really playable, we lower the saddle. Well, if it's bowed, it sort of comes back up again once we get into this part of the fretboard. And what's happening is we've lowered the action too far for that end of the fretboard. It comes back up, and that's where it's buzzing. So I think it's something that 99% of folks will elect to just live with and play the guitar as it is. To correct it, it's going to be an expense. You would do that if you really, really, really love the guitar. If you're thinking you're going to sell it again in the future, then you're not going to put that money into it, because you won't get that back out. I'm trying to be transparent here, open and honest with everybody. But these are sweet little guitars. They're beautiful to look at. The mahogany has got a particular flavor of sound to it that is really very cool. Let's see if we can think of something to play our way out with here that you might enjoy. I'm into this Irish stuff of late. Let's see if this will work. Great sustain on this guitar. Great sustain. Nice stiff woods, stiff neck. It's going to have great sustain. All right, gang. This is available right now at G's Gear at reverb.com, and you can transpose in the link that appears at the bottom of the screen there for that. We've always got cool guitars available. We handle a lot of American-made guitars from the 40s up through the 70s, and we do our best to restore everything to really great playing condition. Sometimes we have to make some compromises, but we're bound to have something there to really spark your fancy and your interest and get you into a new and great guitar that will inspire you to keep making music. So do check us out, and we'll see you on the flip side. Take it easy.